Well, there's no question for me, Indianapolis has been an incredible place, both for Final Fours in the Big Ten tournament, and this year hopefully will be no different. But it's a unique year. We're all coming off something that nobody dealt with, and I think we've kind of seen some light at the end of the tunnel. We're excited about that. I'm really excited about my team. Not many times am I looking up in the last few years 4 or 5 spots in front of me, and yet deservingly so. I think we're a little bit more unproven, and I think there's some teams in our league that are very proven. And our league, again, being in it 30-some years as an assistant on up, these last 4 or 5 years, and I think this year included, there's been some incredible teams and players in our league, and don't be alarmed. Sometimes the league is really good and you don't do as well in the NCAA tournament. Sometimes the league isn't as good, but I think still you have to be judged by the 20 games. And when you go through 20 games in our league, led by the attendance record that we've had over 40-some years, you've earned your stripes. So with my team this year, I think we're better because I think we have a couple guys that'll play the point guard position. We were trying to put round pegs in square holes last year, and that totally falls on the head coach and nobody else. But I'm excited. AJ Hogart has really improved and lost some weight, and I think it's going to be a definite positive for us. And Tyson Walker, a transfer from Northeastern, who was Defensive Player of the Year and still found a way to score 17, 18 points a game, is going to be a great help there. We have some experience in Malik Hall, Joey Hauser, Marcus Bingham, guys that have been through the wars and played 20 minutes a game. Some dealt with COVID different than others. Unfortunately, we were hit in the middle of the year, and it rocked us a little bit, and maybe some confidence both in players and in coaches. But we're through that now. The guys had great spring, summer, and falls, and those guys. And yet we've got a couple of freshmen that I think are going to be really, really good, led by Max Christie, who I think could be the best recruited guard since Gary Harris, who had a great career and is playing in the NBA. So I'm looking forward. We open the schedule the same as we always do. We play Kansas, third-ranked team in the country in New York, and then it just gets tougher. And then, of course, once we get to the Big Ten, I think schedules in the Big Ten are second to none. So questions, I'll answer.
Front row here.
Tom, after we went through a year with no fans in the stands last year, certainly a strange environment, how excited are you just to have that sort of Big Ten basketball atmosphere back this year around the league?
Well, since I've been in the league 37 years, it was strange. I never found a cardboard cutout that could yell at an official, so it wasn't a lot of fun for me, but I'm anxious to have those fans back. I mean, even when you go on the road, there's nothing like going to Purdue or Indiana and, the Wisconsin rivalries that we've had over the years. There's nothing like that in some of the greatest venues in the country, much less in the Big Ten. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to that. I know the players, I think everybody's looking forward to it. I'm sure the officials are looking forward to it, to be honest.
Third row.
Tom, Mike DeCourcy from Sporting News. I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned the point guard situation and how it affected last year. So how do you decide how to deploy AJ and Tyson? Who plays? You play them together? How's that working out in practice?
Well, it's worked out very well, Mike. And, right now we feel we have 8, 9, 10 players deep, and we'll have to make those decisions. But unlike football, where kind of you get one quarterback and that's it. I mean, in basketball, you definitely can play 2 guys, and these guys, the way Tyson shoots it, I think can play together some too, and I think you'll see some of that. In a league that is filled with big men, and we do have some very good big men, and Bingham has really improved his strength, so he's going to need that with the number of good big men in our league. But you still usually win championships with guards, and guards have to be good. So I think you'll see them playing together some. I think we're 32 days away from our first game, and so those decisions between Tyson and AJ will be made, but they're both from the same neck of the country, on the Philadelphia, New Jersey area, New York, and they're very good friends, so it's been seamless so far.
In the back to my left, in the green.
Hi Tom, Sarah Tidwell from the State News. I was just wondering what you think of the new era transfer portal, how you're adapting to recruiting, and what you think these freshmen and transfers from over the year are going to bring to your team.
Well, I've been pretty vocal about the transfer rule, and the one thing I'll stick with, I'm in for anything that'll help the student athletes. But sometimes giving people things and options create problems for them. I'm more worried about what happens. I mean, it's going to work to your advantage sometime. I mean, a fourth-year guy with experience is going to be better sometimes than a first-year guy that's even a star. But I just worry about all the movement and what are they moving for, you know? When the going gets tough, are we just bolting, are we hanging in there? There is a place and a time, and you know, where everybody thinks the coaches are worried about roster management. Hey, we get paid to make roster management decisions. I'm more worried about what does it do to the student athlete. And I think of how many guys I've had, as we've had reunions even 2 weeks ago, I think of how many guys that would have transferred if it was the modern day. And not just a few of them ended up in the NBA. And I think that's what scares me the most. And recruiting, we're still going to try to recruit the four-year guy and sprinkle it in if we have to get somebody from the portal or not. But the jury's still out on that, I think. And I have some concerns, and I think there'll be some unintended consequences, as we learned at the end of the summer, where there's still a couple hundred guys that didn't have a place to go. So I think I'm concerned about it.
We have time for 2 more questions. Let's go to the back.
Hey, good morning, Coach. This is Mike Moore with On the Move with Sports Kells. I was just wanted to ask you a little bit about the role players, the rotation in your basketball team. You mentioned how the Big Ten is definitely, have a lot of big men, a lot of powerful big men, and you always keep good guard play. So what about the rotational guys who come in and make an impact on your season?
Well, I think Jaden Akins is going to be one freshman that's going to come in and is going to make a big difference. Could be a rotational player, but I think Manny Sissoko and Julius Marble are 2 big guys that aren't maybe as big as some of the big guys in this league. But it'll be interesting. You know, last year we ended up going small at the end of the year. I played Aaron Henry at the foursome, and we beat 3 ranked teams, top 5 teams. So everybody's going to be doing some chess work. You know, you're going to have to mix and match guys, and I think the most successful teams I've had are ones that are very versatile. And, you can play big, you can play small, you can play fast, you can play slow. I think in the Big Ten, you got to be able to do that because, we're all going to be prejudiced to our conference. But I hate to say it. I hate to say it only because I got to face them. But the coaches in this league are phenomenal. They are phenomenal. And we just added a couple new ones that are really good too. So you're going to have to be able to make adjustments, that's for sure.
Our final question from the front corner.
Hey Tom, Brendan Shabat from WDBM. Obviously you've got some talented freshmen coming in and all of them kind of do their own thing and have their own skill set, but who are you expecting to be the main benefactor on the court for you guys, and who are you expecting to get the most out of this season?
Well, I think some of the main benefactors could be Bingham, could be Hauser and Malik Hall, and maybe Max Christie, because I think we're going to be a better passing team. I think we're going to be a better running team. We've always been a good running team, and maybe without the same quarterbacking last year, we didn't do as good a job of that. And again, I'm going to reiterate 100 times, because every kid that I've had and the kids that have left, I still stay in good contact with. It's nobody's fault but the head coaches. But in saying that, I think because we're going to have guys that can penetrate and kick more and pass more, I think Hauser, Hall, Christie's, Gabe Browns are going to benefit a lot. And if we get our running game going, we'll be able to utilize our depth a little bit more. And But you know, what's hard for all of you is I get a kick out of people picking things in magazines. Nobody even knows who everybody has. There's with the transfers, with who's going to adjust, who's going to come in, who's it going to work out for, and who's going to be a bust. I mean, those things are all going to be factors in this season as we move forward. And you look at from COVID, I think it's going to be an exciting year. I think it's going to be one where our league will stand up, and hopefully they stand up in the NCAA tournament. Because last year we too were one right in this state that had a big lead and lost to UCLA that went on to a Final Four. So I'm looking forward to normalcy. I'm looking forward to fans in the stands. I'm even looking forward to have face-to-face with you guys and gals. You know, it's kind of boring when you got to do it over Zoom. It's no fun. You can't get in any arguments. You just got to sit there and do what you do. And I'm looking forward to getting back with all of you, and I appreciate what you did last year and how you sacrificed. I'm looking forward to seeing you all together. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Coach, for your time this morning. Good luck this season.
Appreciate it.